It's a pleasure to join these wonderful speakers and all of you today. I've been listening in from Tampa. I work remotely for Storck Center because of the pandemic, and I was honored to share my experiences and journey with transportation with all of you today. So here we go. The whole point of this presentation is to show you how access to services leads to possibilities, and how to give you insight to what it's like as a person with a developmental disability, and as well as give you insight to what parents, how you guys are the key and the advocates for us throughout our childhood, young adulthood, and grown adulthood, how important you all are. So here we go. Life is a journey, not a destination. I say this because we're always changing, we're always growing, and as individuals with disabilities, our abilities change over time. Sometimes our abilities don't remain the same. So with that said, and the journey also has ups and downs. And with that comes the need for a support system. And a support system could be your parents. Like you see on the screen that I have, I'm sharing, I have my dad, who's Joe, and my mom, Michelle. And I have my colleague and partner and co-worker, Karen. And then I have my mentor, who has helped me after college, former State Senator Renee Garcia. And they all play a part into my success of where I am today. But my parents are my solid rock throughout this whole life journey. So it's essential to have the support system to help you through the joys and the sorrows and the most important moments of your life. And throughout the years as a child and as a young adult and a grown adult now, I have had personal mottos and mission statements for myself. And as a child, I always said, I can versus I can't. I always had this nothing is impossible attitude, which really helped me become who I am today. And as a young adult, going through middle and high school, that changed to, I'll prove that I'm just like everyone else. And then after that, as a grown adult, now it's more about encouraging others by empowering possibilities within individuals with disabilities to live their best lives. That's my personal mission statement for myself. So, as you can see, services and resources for the journey are so important and essential to where I am today. And I believe in order to create a real inclusive society, all individuals should and have the right to equal opportunities to thrive in their daily lives. And for example, like employment, you guys were talking about support decision-making. I love that. The way you guys spoke about how to have a caregiver or someone they trust to help make those decisions. It's important for us to be involved in those decisions as individuals with a disability. Like, for example, would a person like to work full-time, part-time? regards to transportation, how are they going to get to where they need to go to work or to physical therapy or occupational therapy and so forth? Where do they want to live? How do they want to live? Who do they want to live with? And also social relationships. Who do they want to be friends with? Who do they trust? And it's important to make sure that as a parent and as an individual that you both work together. It's not one-sided, because parents are teaching their kids how to be self-advocates. So my mom has always been my number one advocate growing up. She was told by doctors that I would never walk, or that I wouldn't walk the same way as everyone else, or I would not have a normal life. And she was 21 when she found out, when I was 2 years old, that I had cerebral palsy. And she was like, "What is cerebral palsy?" So the nurse told her, "You have to enroll your daughter into early steps so we can help her with her developmental delays." So my mom did that, of course, but she did not accept what they said. She wanted to make sure that I was treated like every other child. She made sure that I remained independent through everything. Even as I attended ESC classes, she made sure that I have choices to what I wanted to do in those classes, what I was learning. She was very, very involved. And as far as IEP meetings go, she made sure that I was there, that I was involved in those meetings. She allowed me to speak my mind and tell them how I was feeling in the classroom. She took me to physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, 3 days a week, along with karate and choir and Girl Scouts and all of it. And I still remember till this day her driving in the car and me doing homework, making sure that I got everything I needed, and not only for me, but for my brother as well. So she made sure that I was involved in every way throughout childhood and throughout growing up. So then I became mainstreamed in middle school, and I had a difficult time accepting the reality that I was different, because I didn't see myself that way, because my family didn't treat me that way. So when my peers treated me that way, it was hard. They bullied me daily, on a daily basis. They made fun of me for having a walker, or because I walked a little differently, or how I processed things a little slower. But it was a hard time. But we got through it, and my teachers, I did not have friends in middle and high school, not until my junior year of high school. My teachers were my friends, because they knew how to interact with me. And I think the students in my class just didn't know how to relate to somebody with a disability. Unlike today, you hear about best buddies in school, or you hear about inclusion. We didn't have that like 20 years ago. It wasn't really known as it is today. And then after high school, I attended Florida International University, and I earned 2 bachelor degrees in sociology and international relations, with a certificate in leadership studies. I loved school. and my brother makes fun of me for it, but that was my outlet, because my social life was not there. So school was a big priority in my life, and I'm glad that I've excelled in that. Then after FIU, I had a difficult time finding employment, due to the lack of transportation. It's a major barrier for us individuals with disabilities because there are eligibility requirements, number one. Number two, the services that are available may only be available in certain areas throughout the county, or there's not services for cross-county mobility, like crossing over from Broward to Palm Beach or Broward to Miami and vice versa. So that was a major barrier. And not only that, being rejected from employers because I was, either because of stereotypes, stigma, or just looking at me for face value and not looking at my resume. So I dealt with those type of things, and it makes you wonder if you're going to get anywhere in life when you face those obstacles. But to have my support system, to have my mom and my dad and my brother cheering me on, that really helps. So I wanted to share that with you. So after graduation, it was difficult to find a job, like I said. And then I ran into, at a political rally, I met a state senator, a former state senator, Rene Garcia, and I didn't know that he was an elected official. And he just wanted to learn what I did in my community. And for once, I was like, wow, he didn't ask what disability I had, or he didn't approach me any different from like most people do. So I was like, wow, he's actually looking at me and not my disability. And I told him what I did in my schooling and what I did growing up and helping children with disabilities in karate and stuff like that. And he was impressed. So he was like, let me give you a chance. Let me give you some real work experience. And so I interned for him at his district office in Hialeah. And my parents would drive me to Miami from Broward, where I lived at the time, back and forth. My dad took me in the mornings and my mom picked me up in the afternoon. And I was very fortunate that my parents were able to work that out, because it's difficult for most parents to work their schedules around their work schedules. So I'm very grateful for that, because that opportunity as an intern led to where I am within Storck. So together as a legislative assistant intern, along with the head legislative assistant and his team, we worked together on a bill, a Senate Bill 1086, to enhance cross-county mobility for the transportation disadvantaged. And we were so amazed of disabilities don't think it is possible sometimes because of these man-made rules and these income restrictions and so forth. But it is possible, and with the right supports and the right resources and the right support system that you build around you, you can make it. So thank you, Dorian, for having me today. Thank you all for listening. I hope this presentation gave you some thought into what is possible when you have the right resources. You can look up these resources on the website and through my email. You could contact me by phone or email. I'll be more than happy to help and answer questions.
Danielle, Dorian here. I don't see any questions at the moment. Usually it takes sometimes a few minutes. If they don't come in during the presentation, we keep it open just for a couple of seconds or so to see if anybody has any questions. We know it's been a long day for everybody, so we thank everybody for sticking it out with us, and you did a great job coming in off of your full 40-hour work week, coming back to join us, which is always such fun.
Of course.
Yeah, and at this time, I wanted to invite Terry Shermet onto the screen to enjoy company, close out the show. Hang on 1 second. Everybody, 1 second.
I'm unmuted, but I don't think you can see me.
Turn on video, turn on sound. Hold on. We're promoting you to a panelist.
So there we go. Now I can see you. Danielle, you're a hard act to follow. First, I want to thank you, and I can't tell how much I miss seeing you. Every time I can listen to you all day to hear about your life, your story. I know we spoke ourselves personally about just the journey that you've been through and knowing how the world has changed and evolved, and you got to see it personally and be a part of it. From, you know, inclusion, the way things were obviously 20, 30 years ago when you were growing up, and to where we are now today. And you've been such an amazing advocate, and I just,
it's a big improvement for
admiration for
people with
everybody.
disabilities. I just wish we knew about, I wish my mom knew about Ann Storck Center when I was growing up. That's because I probably would have been with Ann Storck as a kid, you know, working on the OT, speech pathology, and all that stuff that you guys do. And that's why I love working there for 5 years. I'm going on 5 years. So.
Yes, like I said, you're just a true inspiration. Like I said, I miss having you nearby, but because of the pandemic, I miss a lot of people. But I have to tell you, thank you so much again for being a part of our family, and can't wait to see you in a few months for your big day. But anyways, I also want to thank all the participants and the speakers today. I don't know about you all, but I've also learned a few things myself today. It was amazing, the wealth for